I mean, how are things there? Are you in the dog box after visiting Shepherd Bushiri in Malawi? I mean, the Daily Maverick is reporting that you're at odds with the leaders and you claimed that he'd given you his blessing.
No, look, do you know, as a Secretary General and like all other Secretaries General and Provincial Secretaries and Regional Secretaries would do, there is nothing which I do without informing the President. There is no political program that I engage myself in without making the President aware. And there is no decision that I communicate to the membership of MK and externally without the President knowing.
So he was aware prior to you getting on a plane and going to Malawi. I want us to be specific about that.
Yeah, let me be specific about that. So when we went to the inauguration of the President of Namibia, yes, Comrade Triple N, she's known as Triple N, in Namibia. So after the inauguration, when we were now at the tables where they were serving lunch after the official inauguration, I did say that we were sitting with former President Joyce Banda and the former President Masisi of Botswana. So Joyce Banda is the former president of Malawi.
Yes.
And then the incumbent president, deputy president of Malawi called Michael Usi. And they both kept on saying that we want to have engagement with MK. And the president says that the Secretary General is here. He must interact through the Secretary General. If there's going to be further engagement, let's have through the Secretary General. I then went to Malawi during the Easter weekend for political engagements with former President Joyce Banda and current Deputy President Michael Usi. There's elections in Malawi in September.
Yes.
So there were discussions about a variety of issues which are not due for public communication in terms of the approach of the Malawi question. But that was primarily the whole thing. And one thing which I never apologized on and I will never apologize on is when I went to see Prophet Shepherd Bushiri and then he said, let's go to church. I said, I will go to church. I'm like those who say that I am glad when they say unto you, let us go into the house of the Lord. I'm compliant.
Despite the concerns of him evading arrest and what that means for the MK party and what it stands for and constitutionalism and upholding the rule of law.
I honestly
I mean, those were genuine. You can admit those were genuine concerns, right?
No, I think they were misplaced, actually. Like I think there was
Why?
There was just unnecessary misplaced exuberance around it because I'm not responsible for law enforcement in South Africa, one, but two, as a matter of fact, there is no court ruling in Malawi within the criminal justice system that links both countries that has instructed that he must be deported to South Africa. If there was such, he would be hiding in Malawi, then that would have made him a fugitive. But currently there is no such because I said in one other interview that if anything, the Malawian government provides security through the state to Prophet Shepherd Bushiri in terms of what he does. There are so many projects that is involved in there which is supported by government and in full collaboration with the government. And the South African government is fully aware of that. It has got nothing to do with me. And you know, going to religious institutions is a personal choice of anyone who can do. I go to so many religious institutions. I go to even religious institutions whose faith I don't associate with for different reasons that we have to do and we have to listen to different people. But I attended the Jesus Nation Church in Malawi because I had to listen to the sermon on the Easter weekend of 2025, and I don't think that there was anything wrong with that. Like, if South African government
from
wants,
an optics perspective, yes,
if South African government is looking for Shepherd Bushiri, they know what process to follow, and doesn't have to do anything with Floyd. There's no Floyd Shivambu who is going to enforce any law because I do not have the permissibility and the constitutional or legal legislative right to could enforce any law in South Africa.
But Floyd Shivambu is building up an organization. Floyd Shivambu is part of building the credibility of the Umkhonto weSizwe party.
Yes.
And where I'm going with this is that there have been many instances where some would say, sure, I mean,
but
Bushiri aside, no.
No, I don't know if there's any wisdom as well to want to speak about what issue when there's so many other things to speak about.
Yeah, and that's where I'm going with it, if you let me finish my question.
Okay,
because there have been many instances where there seems to be internal ructions, and you've even detailed when you were still in the Youth League, you know, you detailed each year of the ANC up until 100 years. I mean,
yes.
Right now, where the MK party is, you're just a little over a year old, and there's been issues in Mpumalanga between Mary Badi and Busisiwe Mkhwebane. There was that social media outburst from Duduzile Zuma against you. And more recently, what many have termed the unceremonious removal of Mzwanele Manyi, by the way. What would you say to the potential voter about this? And to make them believe that these are just teething problems, it's nothing to really signal that there's an implosion on the horizon.
Yeah, so let's categorize the issues. So there are issues which are issues of disciplinary inquiry internally. So as a Secretary General, I can't publicly communicate or speak about issues that are subject of disciplinary inquiry. It's not allowed inside the organization itself, even in a basic legal principle and standard all over the world. There are certain things that you do not want to divert the or date the intention of by making unnecessary reflections on that. So the issues of the outbursts that you've mentioned is an issue of disciplinary inquiry. It's not an issue that we can talk about.
And Mzwanele Manyi, what happened there? It seems so out of it. And a lot of the things, so perhaps you can appreciate there's a lot of things that you deal with internally and you say you can't share.
Yeah.
But when you wake up on a Tuesday and there's no ability, and I can vouch for the fact that there was no proper communication until, you know, there's Speaker Togo Titiza confirming it officially. I mean, it felt unceremonious. What happened there?
No, look, so you know the leadership that is deployed in Parliament gives the leadership collective of the national officials of Umkhonto weSizwe constant reports and review on who they believe should play which roles at what certain periods of time.
Yeah.
And not because of anything else that Mzwanele did wrongly. There was a firm
his relationship with Dr. John Hlophe.
Yeah, that is not an issue. Like, if anything, the era of governance of Umkhonto weSizwe and participation in Parliament was beginning to gain stability, which we thought should be enhanced in terms of how it gets to be reported. Like, so, because in the past, we never used to have consolidated reports from the 7 provincial legislatures where MK is represented, and from the councils where Umkhonto weSizwe has got councillors, and from the National Assembly, National Council of Provinces. And both the Deputy President, who is the party leader in Parliament, and Mzwanele were able to have a system of systematic reporting about all the public representatives of Umkhonto weSizwe across board. But there was consideration, not because of any wrongdoing, that let us supplement the Parliamentary Caucus through the designation of Colleen Makubela as a chief whip. And that will add into the work of the organization. Mzwanele will be assigned different responsibilities within the National Assembly, and he will continue to excellently play